Hey guys, I read books. You know why? So you don't have to, you lazy fucks. So I do all the reading, I analyze the books, and I take out all the juicy bits, and then I spoon feed you. Lazy fucks. At least you can give me a like. Hello everyone. Today something completely different. We're going to talk about books. In specific, this one. So it's in Croatian, but I'll translate for you. It's a well-known book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And if I have to recommend a book for someone who doesn't read at all, wants to start reading, I would suggest to buy this book and to read it. I read it, and I have to say maybe it's the best book I have ever read. Why? Because it's very simple to read, it's very comprehensive, it's very, very down to earth, and it teaches you all the tips and tricks that you need to know in order to communicate with other people. If you ever wonder, is it you? Are you crazy when you speak to other people, when you're watching the world around you? Then once you start reading this book, you will find out that you're not the only one. There are a lot of people who are, let's say, smart people who have figured it out, who have seen all the same things as you did, and they have somehow extrapolate the knowledge and put it in a little book. It's very easy to read once more, and it gives you the opportunity to find out all, as I said, all the tricks and recommendations how you can approach to other people and make them feel special, and how to gain their attention and so on. Basically, it gives you the opportunity to get from other people what you want. But you have to read it and you have to understand it. So if you ever wonder how people operate, maybe this book is the best user manual that you can get today in order to be the closest to the user manual. As I said, nothing revolutionary is about this book, but for me it was an eye-opener. Like, okay, I'm seeing all these interactions between humans every day, and maybe it's my perspective. It's maybe what I think that's going on, what's happening, but basically it's not. So other people have come to the same conclusions, and I started to read these books. I started to read and listen to different podcasts. And now I want to, as I said at the beginning, I want to just take the juicy bits and pieces, only some kind of conclusions from this book, and give you, and as I said, spoon feed you with these juicy bits. So let's start. First of all, you have to watch this video from the beginning all the way to the end so that you understand why we are talking about this. Last time we were talking about selling, how to sell, how to gain attention from your potential customers, what to say to them, what not to say to them. The customer is always first. You have to put him in the first place, not yourself. And basically, this is something that continues on that same, let's say, mindset. It just gives you some kind of a perspective how you can speak to other people in order to gain friendship, to gain their attention, to gain their trust. Let's start. Please share, like, and subscribe now, then we can start. So I will tell you what I found out. So it's not something that I didn't know before. It's something that just came into my, let's say, focus now, that I think more about it when I'm speaking with other people. First of all, I gave way too much attention and way too much credit to people thinking that they are in general smart. I wouldn't say, and I will not say that most people are stupid. I will say that they are not very, very smart. If you're hanging out with a certain level, let's say, of people, if you are like me, went to the college, then you have a good, a decent job, you're hanging around with different kinds of interesting, very smart people, you're probably, and I am probably, in the top level. When I say top level, maybe top 10, 5 to 10% of people, and other people are, I won't say below, but they are speaking more about those stupid everyday things that I don't care about. Let's say when you go to your hometown and when you visit your old friends, maybe you will came across to some kind of topics regarding the politics, the conspiracy theories, and so on. It's dumb shit, basically. Why? Because it doesn't make you better, it doesn't make you smarter, it will not put any kind of additional money in your pockets. It's just chit-chatting for chit-chat, and it's completely stupid, and their opinion is irrelevant. They will not get anything from that kind of conversation, and basically they're wasting their time. And when you waste your time, you're not doing anything productive. When you're not doing anything productive, you're not pushing yourself above everybody else. You will not get any additional money, you will not escape the ordinary, you will not escape this matrix, you will always be inside. So that's why you have a limited amount of time in this world, and if you're going to spend it on some dumb conversation, dumb shit, trying to convince other people into something they cannot comprehend, who is stupid, you or that person who are trying to convince? So first of all, don't give so much credit to other people. They are not smart as I thought they are. Then next thing is that the most important person and most important people for everybody is themselves. I said it before, I'm going to say it once more. No one cares what you think, what you need, where are you going, what you're going to do. No one cares. Unless if they can see that they can, I don't know, undermine you, maybe they can pull you down just to make fun of you. So they can say, you're no better than us, you cannot be better than us, ha ha ha, and so on. But those are, let's say, small brain people. You should put them aside. And never take interactions with those kind of people. The stupidest thing that you can do in your life is to try, and this is something that I also learned, the stupidest thing is to try to change other people, somebody else. It's impossible. Don't even try. You will just spend your energy. You will not do anything. You will not change that person. You will maybe get into a fight with that person. It will not benefit you in any way. Just stop. Just nod your head up and yes, 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 and that's it. Don't go into discussions. Don't go into difficult conversations with them, and don't try to change those people. No, just accept them as they are and work with what you have. That's it. The stupidest thing, as I said, is try to change other people. It's impossible. So one thing is, no one cares about you and what you need. Everybody is for themselves on the first place, and don't try to change anyone. And if you try to change someone, you will fail. You will fail to try when you try to change someone. You will not change anybody. And then what you will produce, you will only produce extreme amount of stress and anxiety and so on. Why? Because you will fail. You will constantly fail because it's impossible to do. That's why one of the biggest sources of origins of stress in your life is basically try to get from something that you know that they will not deliver. So you have wrong and unrealistic expectations from other people. If you know that other people, I don't know, some other person is always late, he doesn't value his time or your time, and so on, putting that person into some kind of an environment, thinking that this time they will deliver on time, it's foolish, because they will not deliver on time, because they are like they are. They don't value the time, they don't think about it like that. And at the end, you feel disappointed, saying, I'm so disappointed in you. How can it be? How can this even happen in your life? You know what that person is like. You put it there thinking that he will deliver, but you know that he cannot deliver on time, and now you are stressed. So who is more stupid? The guy who didn't deliver on time, or you who put these unrealistic expectations in the first place? I believe. So the only thing that you can control is yourself. The only thing that you can change is yourself. So if you want to change something in your life, the only thing that you can do is get up your ass and change yourself. That's the only thing that you can do. You can only influence how hard you work, nothing more. Okay? And don't bother yourself with other people. It just doesn't make any kind of sense. So what can you expect from other people? Nothing. Nothing in this whole world you can expect from other people. And when you expect nothing, then you cannot get disappointed because you didn't expect anything in the first place. The only thing that you can get is sometimes a nice surprise from someone because they will do something. So I'm not saying that it will always happen that the people will disappoint you. But if you're putting some kind of expectations, especially unrealistic expectations on other people, of course you will be disappointed. That's like it is. So don't even try to change anybody else. So what you can do, you can analyze that person, you can see how he's reacting on certain topics and so on, and then take it to your advantage. Let's go and see how you can make friends and you can influence other people. As I said on the last episode, I am on first place if I'm looking from my perspective. It's the same thing for everybody else. Everybody else is just thinking about themselves. And everybody loves themselves the most. You also have to understand it. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't go into this discussion. I'm just saying like it is, and that you can take this information and take it and use it to your advantage in some way. So if most of the people, I would say 99.9% of the people, are very egoistic. So they're thinking about themselves first. So they like to talk about themselves, brag, and so on. If you give them opportunity, other people, to talk about themselves, to brag, and so on, you will get their attention. You will be, let's say, looked at from that person like a friend, like someone they can trust, and so on. Because everybody loves to talk about themselves, about how great they are, and so on. That's why when you're trying to speak with someone, you always have to put that person in the first place. You don't tell them that. You just ask them questions about them and give them opportunity to speak more about them. If you say, okay, where were you last week? They say, oh, I was on some kind of competition. And then you say, okay, was it good? And I say, oh, I was, I don't know, race driving or something like that. And I ended up at first place. Oh, wow, first place. Oh, it must feel good. Was it your first time that you won some race? Or what do you think? Can you win another race? So that's where you try to encapsulate. So you're putting that person in a frame. So this is obviously some kind of manipulation. You put it in some kind of frame where that person is telling you everything about themselves, and his mind is either way, his mind is all about thinking all about themselves. Now they're just verbalizing it, they're just putting in the words and telling it to you. And it's something that most people find very relaxing, very cool, and they really, really, really enjoy it. So that's the first thing that you can do. Put somebody else at the first place and give them the opportunity to brag and to be egocentric. And that's the hardest thing to do, because I am also egocentric. He is or she is egocentric. How we can talk if I want to speak about myself all the time and you want to speak about yourself all the time? It's very difficult. So that's where, if you want to gain friends and influence people, you have to back down, go one step back, and then, let's say, rationally think about that, not putting yourself first, and deliberately asking some specific questions for other people so that they feel like they're the most important person in the whole universe. Because, arrogance is, if you go and read Bibles and so on, it's the root of all evil, and everything else originates from arrogance. Me, 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 and it's always me. So there is no way in hell that you can eradicate arrogancy. It's not possible. But what you can do is, if you know that it's impossible, you can manage that. You can manage that arrogancy, and you can, let's say, drive it. You can direction the communication using this arrogancy as some kind of medium. Because as I said, you can put somebody at the first place and now revolve the conversation about this arrogancy. Then what you need to do is to really listen. Because it happened a lot, at least for me. I believe you have been in similar situations when you ask someone some questions just for the sake of asking, but you're not really listening. You ask, oh, okay, how is your mom? How is your blah, blah, blah? How is your dog if he's a really big dog lover? How is your dog? And then he said, oh, we went for a walk, we went to the forest, blah, 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 blah. And you don't listen at all. You just ask them a question because you know he likes to talk about his dog, but you didn't really listen. So when you, I don't know, go home the next day, you don't even recall what that person said. And that's a big, big, big problem, because people, they love to hear that they have been heard. So they like to hear their own words. That's why you have to, when you're communicating with other people, you have to somehow repeat those things that they said, just because those people need to understand that you're really listening and they enjoy it, they love it. And you, at the same time, you are putting those thoughts, that thing that he or she said, also in your brain, so it's much easier for you to remember it the next day or a week after that. Because if you ran into that person in 1 week, you can ask, oh, okay, how is your dog? Did you go for a stroke through the woods once more, and so on? Because this will give them a signal that you're really paying attention, and people love that because they feel very important. Then next thing is, you should never criticize and you should never complain. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. No one loves to be criticized. No one. It's a direct hit on ego. Direct. And if you want to make friends and have an influence on someone, by hitting someone's ego is not the right way to do it. Just move away from the ego. Move away from that. And you can see now that most of these things that I have learned from this book and I'm trying to apply in my life is about how to put someone else's ego first and how to attenuate my own ego. And that's it. That's the whole magic about the conversation. You are more important than me. I will listen to you. You should feel superior. You should feel more important than me. That's the only thing. Now we have different kinds of situations, different kinds of, I don't know, little advices that this book is giving you, but it all revolves about this arrogance and ego all the time. So you never criticize another person because it's a direct hit on ego. And the ego is the most important thing. So you never criticize. There are techniques. If you want to criticize someone, you should do it indirectly so that they not understand that you are criticizing them. The only way to do it is if they by themselves come to a conclusion that they did something wrong and they admit it. But you can do it by navigating and putting specific questions here and there, and that's the way you can drive the conversation so that other person will come to the same conclusion like you have also. But if you say it, then it's criticism. You're putting a critic on someone. But if somehow you guide the people through it, then if they come to the same conclusion, that's not perceived as criticism. That's why it's very important to know how to speak with people in such way.